Hey everyone, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Okay, folks, we got big news coming out of the White House. So, the White House crypto and AI czar, David Sachs, his tenure has come to an end. And on its face, a lot of people were saying, hey, did he get fired? Did he get demoted or whatever it may be? But it's actually very simple. So, his advisory role was just part of a 130-day tenure, and that's actually up. And he's going to be moving into another advisory role. It looks like it's going to be on science and technology. So, he's not getting demoted, he's not getting fired. That was the initial knee-jerk reaction from many folks. So it's very simple, and he confirmed this on X, stating like this is not some sort of big deal. He's just moving on because the tenure for that advisory role is over. But David did a lot of great work on crypto as well as AI, and we got the Genius Act passed. We're on the cusp of getting the Clarity Act passed. That's in the Senate. Just the banks have been playing hardball, of course. But overall, great. They didn't do too great on the Bitcoin Reserve item, but I think the Bitcoin Reserve item is a hard sell with everything that's going on economically. Plus, we need to get the Clarity Act done first. I think once that's out of the way, then we can bring back the Bitcoin Reserve and the digital asset reserve overall. So I think a great run here by David. And just so you guys know, this is not some, he's getting fired or something like that or some FUD. So FYI. Now, some other big news coming out of the White House is that the White House clears review of proposal to allow crypto in 401k retirement plans. If you recall, President Trump signed an executive order last year to have this done. Well, they had to go through the different reviews with the different agencies and much more, but it looks like progress is being made here, and this will allow crypto to be accessible in retirement accounts in addition to other assets. This will be huge. There's tons, trillions of dollars in retirement accounts. So if you get a fraction of that coming into crypto, it would be huge. So the White House's Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs has completed its review of a Department of Labor proposal that could reshape how 401k fiduciaries evaluate alternative assets, including digital asset exposure. The Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs website shows the review concluded on March 24th with the action marked consistent with change and the proposal classified as economically significant. Interesting verbiage here. The Department of Labor is now expected to publish the proposed rule for a standard 60-day public comment period, which is usually followed by revisions and the issuing of a final rule. The proposal follows President Donald Trump's August 7, 2025 executive order directing federal agencies to expand access to alternative assets in 401k plans, including exposure to digital assets through certain investment vehicles. The order directed the Department of Labor to reevaluate restrictions around alternative assets in defined contribution plans, including digital assets, private equity, and real estate. It also called for interagency collaboration between the U.S. Treasury Department and the SEC on supporting rule changes. The completed review clears an interagency hurdle for a proposal that could widen the path for alternative assets in U.S. defined contribution retirement plans. This is huge, folks. Major on-ramp that will bring tons of capital into crypto in addition to other asset classes. So let's say, we bottom out in this bear market in another 4 to 5 months, right? And obviously, that's not guaranteed. We're going to have to see how the market plays out. But by the time later this year rolls around, you have the Clarity Act pass, you have this 401k on-ramp in place, in addition to all the ETFs that have been launched. That's going to be very good as we head into the next bull cycle. And I do believe we will start to see new all-time highs come 2027. Again, that's not guaranteed. I'm just looking at the charts. I'm looking at all the things that are being set up here. We're going to have to wait and see. But I think ideally, with all these things in place, again, kicks off that super cycle with more capital coming in, more building, more adoption, and much more. So this is huge. Now, folks, on the topic of 401ks, you can start investing via an IRA with iTrust Capital, and you can get the huge tax exemption. So you can invest in both crypto as well as precious metals like gold and silver on iTrust Capital. And if you have an existing 401k or IRA, you can simply roll it over to iTrust Capital. So you can trade 90 plus crypto assets in addition to gold and silver through the IRA. You can do this 24/7. It's low cost, no monthly fee, and as mentioned, huge tax benefits there. They also have a great custody option called Premium Custody Account. It's institutional grade, so it uses Coinbase Prime, Fidelity Digital Assets, and others. We know BlackRock leverages Coinbase Prime. So I believe this option is second to self-custody because of who they're using for the custody, right? So that's a really, really great option where you can sleep at night knowing your assets are safe. And if someone hacks into your account, it's a closed loop system, so they can't remove your funds. And it's low fees as well. And a great thing about the precious metals offering that they provide, it's not paper gold and paper silver, it's physical. So you can actually redeem the assets if you want to. And folks, if you sign up with my link, you can get a $100 funding bonus. So check out iTrust Capital. This is a great option if you have that long-term view to invest, get the tax benefits, and have really safe custody. So check out iTrust Capital. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, this is really big. Coinbase Fannie Mae bring crypto-backed mortgages to homebuyers. So the crypto exchange is working with financial technology mortgage firm Better, a Fannie Mae approved mortgage seller. So crypto is becoming this massive asset class that's getting adoption on many fronts. And this here, being able to use your crypto as collateral to get a mortgage or any type of other loans is a huge win and will boost adoption of the asset for sure. So borrowers pledge Bitcoin or USDC as collateral to fund their down payment, allowing them to keep their assets intact and avoid a taxable event by spending them. That's huge because many folks historically have to sell their crypto if they want to go buy a house or a car or whatever it may be, and you get hit with capital gains. But if you can borrow against it, that's huge. So the Coinbase / Better mortgage is structured as a conforming loan backed by Fannie Mae, meaning it carries the same protections and standards as traditional mortgages. Coinbase said the crypto-backed mortgages aimed at regular homebuyers are as American as apple pie. So just a huge win here. Again, Fannie Mae backed, Coinbase doing incredible stuff, and they're working with Better Home and Finance Holding. So I'm going to try to get someone from Coinbase to talk about this because this is just incredible. And you know it's going to expand beyond Bitcoin and USDC, but they're going to start off with that. So I love this. I'm a homeowner, but let's say I want to go get a new house, move, things along those lines. I can now leverage my crypto assets. And we saw, I think last year, many of the banks started reporting that they're going to use crypto as collateral. So things are opening up, and look, being able to get a loan, a mortgage is huge, just a huge win for this asset class to be able to put the assets to work. So big news here. And on the topic of Coinbase, Mezo taps Aerodrome to support token trading on Base in Bitcoin DeFi push. So many of you know Base is the Ethereum layer 2 built by Coinbase, right? That's their layer 2 that they have a lot of folks building on, and it's doing really well. So Mezo, a Bitcoin native lending protocol, will collaborate with Aerodrome Finance to support trading activity for its token and Bitcoin-backed stablecoin on the Base network, as projects look for ways to bring more financial use cases to Bitcoin. In a Thursday announcement, Mezo said it will allocate 2.25% of its Mezo token supply to Aerodrome's Vote Escrow participants, users who lock tokens in exchange for governance rights and rewards. The program is designed to encourage those users to direct funds into Mezo trading pairs, increasing activity around the token and its US dollar-backed stablecoin MUSD. So Aerodrome is a liquidity provider on Base, built by the team behind Optimism, a configurable enterprise blockchain infrastructure. I had actually interviewed, I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was one of the founders of Aerodrome. I believe the interview was done late last year. So you guys can certainly look through the interviews to check on that. So the partnership links Base-based traders with a newer group of Bitcoin-focused applications as developers experiment with adapting existing DeFi models to Bitcoin. So this is really great, guys. So Mezo allows users to borrow against their Bitcoin holdings. Said it has issued more than 2,000 loans and helped move roughly $23 million in Bitcoin denominated assets from Ethereum. So these are the things that are going to drive utility, and DeFi is a big part of it. Okay, moving ahead, Nasdaq tokenization plans could split trading into two markets, says TD Securities. So all the stock exchanges and banks and much more are going all in on tokenization, and we got a take here by the folks at TD Securities. So, in a recent note, Reed Knock, vice president of U.S. equity market structure at TD Securities, pointed to plans by NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange to introduce tokenization into alternative trading systems, a type of venue that matches buyers and sellers outside traditional exchanges. While both exchanges are exploring tokenization, Knox said Nasdaq is pursuing three parallel initiatives: upgrading how trades are settled after execution, enabling companies to issue tokenized shares, and supporting trading on offshore platforms such as Kraken. Together, these efforts could result in two distinct systems, one within the regulated US market and another operating offshore blockchain-based platforms. Very interesting. So I'm very curious to see how this all rolls out and plays out. It's going to be really, really interesting. However, TD Securities warns the expansion into offshore platforms could introduce a separate venue for trading the same underlying assets. These tokenized shares would be backed by real stocks but operate outside the US regulatory framework with potential differences compared to traditional holdings. So we're going to see how it all plays out, but clearly everyone's heading in the same direction, right? We've been talking about where the puck is heading, and it's the token economy, all assets on chain, running 24/7 globally, and no more opening, closing bell, guys. That will be a thing of the past. And it's going to be a pretty wild world with 24/7 markets, but that's where AI comes in to assist and to get it all done and monitor it and much more. Final news item, CFTC Chair Selig says blockchain could help verify AI-generated content. Many of you know I've been talking about this for a long time, right? We are in the world of AI, and there's a lot of deep fakes and a lot of content being put out there. And while right now, you look at it, you can differentiate, you can see certain things are a bit off, and you say, that looks like AI. Guys, maybe within a year's time or a year and a half, it's going to be more sophisticated where you're not going to be able to distinguish, is this AI or is this real, right? It's only going to get better. But that's where you're going to have blockchain implemented on content platforms, social media, and much more to date stamp and give the verification. Blockchain is the only way to do this. There's no other way. The traditional Web 2 way is not going to work. You got to have blockchain to stamp it. And I've stated many times in the past, when it comes to merchandise and the supply chain management, they're going to have that as well. I believe eventually Amazon will have some sort of feature that a drop-down dialog box that says this was originated from here, it went to here, it came from here, and it's verified on the blockchain. Same thing with content. Who's the publisher? When was it published? Did it come from a reputable profile, a verified profile, all these things, right? So I think CFTC Chair Selig, he's right. And again, this is something we've been talking about for a long time. Here's a quote: "The private markets have solutions. Blockchain technology is a great one. If you can timestamp things and make sure there's an identifier for each meme or AI generated post, you can verify if it's real or generated by AI. Having these technologies here in the US is critical." This is going to be so critical, guys, because we're not just talking about, memes, but political content, right? Content about different folks in different industries and CEOs and people. What if someone wanted to target you and they created a video of you doing something, maybe breaking the law or doing something embarrassing, right? How do you combat that? You're going to have blockchain technology. Yes, there are laws in place, but the point is, if you can have that barrier initially before things go viral, or they start spreading, and people are, oh, this is fake. This didn't come from the right source, or whatever it may be. It will help mitigate a lot of problems and risks. Because guys, there's people out there ready to leverage advanced AI generated content to go after folks. and it's going to be messy. And this is where we're going to have blockchain in place. And eventually, with blockchain in place, we're going to be able to fight spam and bots as well. I'm not saying it's going to be completely eliminated, but it's going to be less and less. I know sometimes people complain about the bot comments on social media, especially on YouTube, and these platforms are not able to stop it, right? But eventually, with blockchain profiles and much more, you can even distinguish what's a bot post or a scam or whatever it may be. So this is certainly a huge use case, and I think it's going to be a big narrative in the next bull market, but we shall see. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't as yet. Please support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. Be sure to grab a copy and check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto and blockchain technology. And folks, we have a huge sale going on, the bear market sale. Use the code BEAR, BEAR, at checkout to get 50% off the price of the course. And this course is packed with tons of value. What makes it unique? It features expert commentary. No other crypto course offers this. So you're going to be able to hear from the people who are building and investing in the crypto market. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.